Hello, everyone. Welcome to my UGC seminar. I'm Ange, and you guys asked so many amazing questions. So I'm so excited to jump into these questions because I'm sure so many people in the UGC space have the same questions. I'm also going to audit a UGC portfolio in the seminar so that everyone can learn from it and then make any updates to their own if they're making some of the same mistakes. So let's jump right in. Mariah said, I have no idea where to start with my social media platforms because I don't necessarily want to share my UGC journey because I'm trying to build a niched influencer page and I don't have the time capacity to manage another social media page. I want to get inbounds eventually from social media, so I'm not sure exactly what direction to go with. This is such a good question, and I personally tested this with my beauty page. So, of course, everyone kind of knows I have a UGC only TikTok. I just talk about UGC. I do not recommend that to people who aren't passionate about it and they just don't want to get on the internet every day and talk about UGC. It's kind of like someone working at Trader Joe's and then having a TikTok page where they just talk about Trader Joe's. That is so niche, and you really have to want to do that. Most people just want to do the job that gets them paid. So when it comes to a influencer page, there are so many ways that you can attract brands to get UGC deals. So my biggest tip with this influencer page, I'm going to use myself as an example. So hair videos. I basically wanted to work with more hair brands, and that's why I created a hair page. And it brings me so many more UGC deals than my actual UGC page. So I think that's just such a huge misconception in the space that you have to just talk about UGC. However, having your email in your bio, having UGC and influencer partnerships, or just having UGC somewhere is going to help you get hired, because oftentimes these people that are hiring us are just everyday people that are scrolling on TikTok, and maybe they're scrolling on TikTok at work or at home, and they're consumers too. So they're going to see your content, especially if something goes viral, and then they're going to make a note, save it, send it to someone on their team because they think you're a great option for UGC content. So what I would do is utilize your influencer page to post as much UGC style content as possible, which naturally is really easy for me because I'm using hair products. So I'm creating videos around my favorite hair products that I know a brand would want to use that video and use it as an ad or repost it. So taking that angle is going to help you get seen. And then it's utilizing your bio to market yourself. So if you're comfortable putting your UGC portfolio in your bio, I would do that. If you just have UGC/partnerships and then your email in your bio, it's going to help. And naturally, these brands are going to find you because they're constantly searching. And I think it's so much better to post the type of content that the brand would hire you to do to get noticed than to just be talking about UGC, because that doesn't really show what you can do. Next, Veronica, she asked so many amazing questions, so we're going to go through a few of those. First, for someone who is also pursuing other creative artistic goals and careers such as acting, making music, being a content creator, do you recommend to start posting UGC content on that main account or keep separate accounts? Is there a strategy to it when you have other big creative goals and don't want your main page to be taken over by UGC? So this is very similar, so I wanted to just follow up with this question. So I think it depends on what you're comfortable with. I have talked to people that are in the same space. They're in acting and modeling, and they're like, I don't want to put anything about UGC on my page. So in that case, I would recommend starting another page where you can just kind of put out UGC content, put out those examples. But then when you are reaching out to brands, you want to link both of your accounts so that you can show who you are as a person and your different styles of content. I think it just helps to show both pages. I know I do that in my signature and whenever I'm speaking with brands. So if you are comfortable integrating UGC into your content, just be low key about it. You don't have to be marketing yourself like UGC, because that's likely not going to perform. So really you're just looking to have high performing content. So make that UGC style content, because UGC is just user generated content. So I could talk about how much I love it, and that is user generated content. Show you how I use it. And by doing that, naturally talking about more products and being able to sell them through a video you create is going to help you get noticed. And like I said before, just adding UGC to your bio, making it clear. You can use UGC hashtags, just making it clear that you're hireable. So the next question, I think you said you would pitch 20 brands a day. Would it be those full customized email pitches you teach in the course, or would they be shorter through different means of communication? Is there an ideal amount of videos? Okay, that's the next question. So let me rewind. Basically, if you can send 20 emails a day, go for it. My assistant, Rebecca, that's what she did in the beginning, and she killed it. She had success super, super quick. This was way before she was working with me. So I would say emails if you can. And like I teach in the course, like you can use something like hunter.io or Clearbit to find those emails and send them directly. If you don't have time to send 20 emails and maybe you are doing the DM method where you want to get that exact email, just do 20 of those DMs. I really think it depends on your schedule and your time. If you can send 20 emails a day, that is the goal. If that's going to be tough for you, then maybe you reduce it, but that is the goal, if it's possible, is 20 direct pitch emails. And then is there an ideal amount of example videos we need to have posted on our Instagram, TikTok, or portfolio before we start sending those pitches? There isn't necessarily, but it's to come off as you have been doing this forever. So in my eyes, you should have at least 12 videos on your portfolio, and you should have a lot of content on your TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is that you're sending to the brand or linking on your portfolio. It should not be a new page. If it is, you should have like at least 30 videos, like something where you can scroll and not get to the end. That is highly important. Or right away, it's almost like a red flag of, oh, this person's brand new, unless you are pitching them for a gifted collab. It's just something like if it's not built up any sort of social, I just wouldn't include it. Just include your portfolio with those 12 examples minimum. Next question. In the course, you recommend Stripe the most as a payment option for brands that you use most often. Is there a reason that you don't use checks as a form of payment or anything else that may have lower fees? Is it still your favorite way for brands to pay you? I think Stripe is the most simple. That's why I recommend it to new creators. And typically the fees aren't going to be too much on like 100, 150, like some of those lower payment brand deals. But as you get into higher payments, anything in the 4 figures, always ACH direct payment, which is also listed in the course. I talk about it more so in the invoice section, but you can put your method of payment in the invoice section. I think just direct deposit is the best. And now that's the only form of payment I take because I refuse to have a fee on like a $4,000 or $5,000 deal because that percentage can really get up there and I'm losing a few $100s. So I think it's an easy place to start. You can also do PayPal, which I do talk about in the course, and there's various ways you can ask them to send it as family and friends so that there's not a fee. However, typically you're going to have fees unless you're doing direct deposit. And you basically just give them your accounting number and routing number, which as taught in the course, you can just add that to your invoice. Next question, for the creators out there who haven't gotten any deals yet and really want to but have doubts, what advice or words of wisdom or tips do you have? I think a lot of us blow out of proportion how difficult being a UGC creator is. Although it isn't easy, we make it out to be this impossible feat and something that we overwhelm ourselves with sometimes. So what is your best 2 cents on that? Something that will really get those creators to believe they can do it. I love this question. I think a lot of it is learning to love the process. You need to learn to love creating videos. And that's why I do recommend creators to get on social media and put themselves out there. So by learning to love to create this content you're putting out there and get excited about the next idea, the next UGC video that you can create, that's the best way to keep moving forward as you're growing. So something I've always done is I look at how I want my life to look like 6 months from now. So I'm just excited about what can happen in 6 months from now. And I try to get myself to stop focusing on like the instant gratification I need of something to happen tomorrow. This is why I talk about goal setting and I give out free manifestation and goal sheets, because you really need to look at what you want in the future and then have a plan to do it now. So rather than only getting excited around like landing a brand deal, it's like get excited about when you find inspiration on TikTok and you're like, wow, that's a really great UGC style video, or that's a really great ad. Getting excited to even have found that and now have new ideas to go and create something similar or use that as inspiration. For me, I have now, through this whole process of the last 2 years, I am more excited about the content I create. So like it feels amazing when a brand comes to me and they have a big budget and I land a brand deal. That feels amazing. But the most fulfilling part of it is I do the work and then I watch that video I created, and the sense of like pride I have, like I'm so proud of myself because I don't allow myself to create content that just feels okay. So that is what I recommend focusing on, is like, what can I create and feel so, so proud of? And if you focus on that, the results will come. I think so many creators just think they can put some videos on their portfolio and they think that's enough and they're just going to get the deals because like they did the simple steps. It's very simple. Like UGC is simple. What's hard is standing out. But what is going to help you to stand out is to be so passionate about the content that you create that you're just continuing to create new and new content that brings you joy and that you can then put on your portfolio and you're like, yes, that video is better than every other video on my portfolio. And repeat that process and find excitement and like pride in every video you create being better than the last. And if you continue that process, that's how you become the best at anything. And I promise you, money will follow. Next question, walk us through a quick example of organic or paid UGC video concept that doesn't actually take much effort but is super result driven, and walk us through how you would go about a paid UGC video, what the brand usually asks for, and how to work with what they ask/give you. So I'm just going to talk through this. So when it comes to a video that doesn't take much effort, and this is a really important point because I think where UGC is going is consumers can tell when something's an ad. So the basic or like the very structured UGC video, it works, but you have to put the most authentic style into it. So what I am almost seeing and kind of like is that UGC videos are becoming more simple. You can just sit in your car and talk about a lip gloss, putting it on, running out the door, making it feel rushed, like you gotta go, but like this lip gloss is like giving you life, or putting your makeup back together can sell a lot of lip glosses. And that's what's so beautiful, is that it can feel so authentic. You don't have to script it, but it's like the energy and the showing the results of the lip gloss, or like something that is also great. So let's say a lip liner. You put it on, or the lip stains that are super viral right now, putting it on at 6 a.m., showing you putting it on as you're running out the door, you're in a rush, and then showing you getting home at 6 p.m. and you're like, look at this. That is a high-performing ad. That is an ad that shows results. That is an ad that feels authentic. And that is an ad that a brand is going to be so excited about because it's authentic. It doesn't feel scripted. And it's something that you would like tell your friend on FaceTime. Like, look at this lipstick. It has been on all day. So now let's talk a little bit about organic. I think what we see on TikTok all the time is these super short videos. And while yes, the TikTok algorithm is pushing longer form videos as well, those short ones still work. And some of the stupidest trends that I do perform better than these high effort videos that I create, where it's like I literally just put text on screen and I'm showing you something that I did. So maybe it's a hairstyle, it's a product, but it's the text on screen that is selling you, and then you can see it through that 7-second video and just using trending sounds or even a song, but it's the text on screen. It's such a low effort video, but they can do so well organically. Moving on to Jasmine, she said, how do I go about creating scripts and video ideas? I feel like all my videos aren't creative enough, and I feel like when I create a script, it sounds kind of fake, but when I don't, I sound like I'm all over the place. What's your advice on this? So this kind of goes off the last question. Creating scripts, I like to just have bullet points. Or if I do have more of a specific script, I'm not good at memorizing. And so it's kind of like I will say a line over and over and over again. Or if I have bullet points, then I can kind of just like wing it. But I personally do best when I can do that through a voiceover. So I also struggle if I'm just talking to camera. And either way, whether it's super scripted, I'm not good at remembering them, or if it's just me talking, it doesn't always feel natural unless it's a topic I talk about often. And sometimes that's just not the case when it comes to UGC videos. So it is going to take me a lot longer. Like I did a video over a very soft, luxurious blanket, and I just had a ton of clips of me saying each part or talking about each aspect. And I just roll the camera. And while, yes, it's going to take more time editing, it is also going to sound the most natural. And learning to kind of just talk, like try to reduce the inflections in your voice, which is really hard for me. But then you can really easily chop up the video. And that's just how TikTok is. Like you'll notice it's like 3 or 4 words and then the person cuts it. But you may not really notice as you're watching it. But if you pay attention to it, all of these creators are cutting their videos up so much because they too will be talking to camera and then they pause and they're like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? They try to say it. It doesn't come out right. Say it again. And then they go back and see which one comes out best. So I think it's kind of like butchering it and then feeling what comes natural as you're doing that. That's what works for me and a lot of creators in my network that I do talk about this with. So that's what I would say when it comes to talking to camera. When it comes to a voiceover, literally just try to get in a zone, a feel-good mood, and I just make it up as I go. And same thing, I'm cutting it up. So I try to make it sound as natural as possible. I think when we have like these direct scripts, and this is why I don't like when brands give us direct scripts, it's never going to sound natural because a lot of us aren't paid actresses and actors. So I think it's about sitting down and being like, all right, imagine someone you love. Maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your mom. Like, how are you going to talk to your mom? Imagine like a video that you did that sounds super scripted. You would never talk to your mom, best friend like that. So it's really about getting in that zone and practicing and understanding that it doesn't have to sound so high energy, not like you. Like the videos that perform best for me are when I just sound like this, like when I'm just talking to someone. So it's a lot of practice. I hope that helps. But the most important part is still having a really strong hook that is kind of scripted or whatever it is. But for that, I like to watch a lot of examples on TikTok and save hooks that sound really good. And then also using storylines. So a friend came over and they couldn't get over this XYZ and then start talking about that product, or like that you got a compliment on some makeup product and then get into it. So it's kind of like a reverse story, like starting with the result, like what happened, and then coming back to where'd you get it? How'd you use it? And going naturally that way. Now we are jumping into the portfolio audit section of this seminar. So I'm going to first start with Juliana, I'm sorry, I don't know which one. And then we are going to do one more. We're going to do Ella. Right off the bat, I would say I want this photo to be straightened. So one thing I noticed with a lot of portfolios, and I think on Canva, it just like naturally, things can just kind of look like PowerPoint presentations. And so what's challenging but very important is to make it look as professional as possible, which I know is just like a little tough. So these are my tips, what I've seen and what I think will help to do that. So when it comes to the photo, a photo can be the one thing that makes your portfolio look more professional. So I always say that first photo should be the most professional photo you have. If you have the ability to do like little branding shoots, I think that is a perfect chance. I know I recently did that just to upgrade mine, but my first photo that sat there for a really long time was like a white wall, and I just tried to make it look as professional, like a headshot as possible. Just Google headshots to get some inspiration and use your back camera on your phone. If you have a digital camera or a nice camera, like do that. But you want the colors and the crispness to be like super there. So that's the one thing, is this feels very much like a UGC photo, but that's not what I want to see as your first photo, because that's more of like your work. And your first photo, I want it to be like, bam, this is me, professional headshot. So first recommendation. And then Juliana Bruns, UGC Creator. So another thing that I see often is letterings and text being really large. And I get it, you want to fill the space, but it looks more professional when things more so have like digital creative design, so that maybe it's boxed and then the name can be smaller. It just can be overwhelming, and then it does kind of give that presentation PowerPoint vibe, and we're trying to lean more into website and chic and professional. So that would be my tip there, is maybe like add like a box or some sort of very simple design that can kind of help your name to pop. And then UGC Creator email. So another thing is this clickable? Just want to Okay, I don't know if it's clickable, but just because it's underlined, sometimes it can lead someone to think that it's clickable. But that's another area where you could like box something, like add some dimension. And then we have the logos. I would almost do them smaller, or some type of spacing, or like having like white behind, because typically you see like the white in these backgrounds, but maybe moving this over here next to the email. And then I want to see your location, but I see it right there. Okay. So just some tips on the front page is really trying to add that professional like website design to pull back from PowerPoint, if that makes sense. And then moving on to the next one. So I would say like maybe do like a brighter color, or maybe stick to one color and add different tones. So like if you chose blue, doing like a lighter blue here and then moving into like a darker blue, but in the same family. Again, I said I'm going to be very nitpicky, and I am going to be very nitpicky. So more about me, I would remove more, and honestly, like remove about me. So another thing as we move into 2024 and move into like where UGC is headed, I think it's trying to get as professional as possible and making it unique. So maybe just moving about me and having the least amount of words as possible. So like adding your location up here, San Diego, with like a little location icon, just to help, because brands really aren't going to read this, but we want them to see what they need to see, and location is part of it, because it is kind of helpful that you are based in the US. And now I'm going to be so honest here. I think we can remove all of this text. I don't think it's needed. If you move your location up here, I think it kind of just feels like filler text, because another thing that's really important with portfolios and emails as well is anything that can be assumed, get rid of it. The brand is going to know that you're creating content for their socials, so we can remove all of that, because typically we don't need to explain to a brand what we can do necessarily, because they're going to tell us what they want. What we want to tell them is just like the value we can provide specifically to them. So removing anything that could feel obvious. So removing that. Organic content has been shown to have high conversion rates and increase your audience and sales. So I will note that typically organic content is to drive traffic, and it's not it's usually not going to drive sales. So typically ad content is where we're really going to want to push the conversion term and sales and increase your audience. We would maybe want to say drive traffic to your socials or increase engagement. Engagement is really important when it comes to organic as well. So then I already watched your video, but just to quickly, so people know what I'm referring to, I'm just going to watch the first blurb.
Hi, my name is Juliana. I'm a content creator in San Diego, California. I create unique UGC content for your brand, convert your followers into customers and your customers into sales. I specialize in travel, beauty, skincare, but can do so much more.
With my videos, I can help you drive sales and increase brand.
Right away, I feel like you're talking a little fast. It can feel rushed. So I want you to slow that down and try to talk as natural as possible. And I know this can be tough, but it's when the camera's on, like a lot of us will put on a kind of like voice. I know I do this. Like my partner will refer to it as my TikTok voice, but I really try to work on that and talk as natural as possible. High energy, of course, but making it feel as natural as possible. That's another direction that social media is going in, is as super authentic, because audiences can see through ads. So I know I said that earlier, but just another thing that you want to really reflect in your portfolio is that you're going to be very authentic on camera and it's going to feel natural to the brand's audience. So I want it just to feel more relaxed. So maybe you could be sitting down, sitting in a chair, sitting at your laptop. Like I want it to feel like someone is just like recording you in the wild, like what you would typically be doing if you're working as a UGC creator. So like you could be sitting at your desk or sitting at your phone. Like think some of those TikToks where like they go around and ask people random questions and it's just kind of they're in their natural environment. Like that's something that you could do that would kind of send the signal to a brand that my content is going to feel very organic and authentic. So I like that you do flash like B-roll of your other content. I would just, again, you want it to be super natural and we want to force uniqueness. So anything that could be the same thing as someone else's portfolio, we want to pull back and be like, okay, how can I make this unique to me? What makes your content unique? What is something that you do when you're creating content? Something that I personally try to do is envision myself as the customer and create content that I know will grab the attention of the targeted customer or the target audience that the brand is trying to reach. So something like that, like you could take those words and turn it into your own. Like what makes your content unique? Is it your high energy on camera? Is it your editing skills? Is it your background? You've been creating content for 5 years. Like what is something about you that if I watch this video, Susie next door is not going to say the same thing, because it would be impossible. She doesn't have those same specialties or uniqueness about her or specific experience. So now we're moving on to the content examples. Again, I would reduce the size, just make it a little bit smaller. Beauty and skincare. I think you could just put beauty because skincare typically falls under there unless you were going to separate them because you have so many videos. But again, reducing wording as much as possible. Let's watch this video.
Got the viral honeydew hot cream. It comes in a bigger size now, which is amazing because you'll never run out. It is the best for smoothing your complexion. It snatches your jawline or your stomach, kind of anywhere you put it. It has a great smell to it. It's made with all natural ingredients. I can definitely tell my skin looks smoother, you're more radiant. So it improves the appearance of skin texture, it smooths out everything. A lot of people use skincare before they work out, yoga, Pilates. It does have a little bit of a tingly feel, so you can really tell it's working. I'll try anything once, and I'm really glad I tried this. And apparently this is what the girls are using.
So I would turn the music down a little so I can hear your voice more. And one thing I would recommend, and I think you did that in this next video, but like immediately talking about the results, because I hear that it's viral and I'm kind of confused what it is, because I know you mentioned using it for workouts and it snatches your jaw, but like I need a little more description of like what it does. Does it break down fat? Like a little more. And I think a good way to do that is to like say how you learned about it, what made you buy it. So it's viral, but like what actually influenced you. and then what were your results, and showing us those results. Any before and afters would be super helpful, and trying to maybe just slow down the content, throw in some more B-roll if you have any before and after videos, or if you have reference videos of someone else using it. Those always work well. Of course, you need to get permission from the brand. If they own the content, then you can like fill it in to like show, or like whatever ad they're running or something on their website, like what are the claims, what does this product do, I think would be helpful to have the consumer understand a little bit more about what it is.
If your makeup looks like this or this, you're not using the right primer. A flawless makeup routine starts with a good primer, and this is how I get the perfect base. I start with Carpe's Sweat Absorbing Makeup Primer. I like this one because it's tinted and has sunscreen. And this primer also absorbs oil and sweat, so your makeup doesn't move during the day. Let me do my makeup and show the finished results. All done. Skin looks amazing. Definitely click the link to try it now.
Okay, so I love that you have reference photos here. That's super helpful. I will say that you maybe, and I'm being nitpicky, you may want to choose like a less intense photo, because it's such a specific and like extreme look that it may not feel relatable. Like I would find something that's more relatable, like the next photo. Like this one is really great because you can see the separation. So just a small note there. But I love that you are using the reference photos and the green screen and then getting into the product. Our tone of voice can feel a little scripted, and I do this too. Like it just sounds like really like high pitched and animated. So I would try to tone it down to make it sound as natural as possible. I think using examples or stories can be really helpful through videos, but trying to just sound as like you're talking to your best friend on the phone type of vibe. And another thing is, if this is like an ad that they're running, like click the link now is great. A lot of times brands are going to ask you to do that. But otherwise, I like to keep my call to actions as like natural as possible. So like you can get it at Sephora.com, or I got mine at Sephora. Something, I think anytime you're talking about yourself, it kind of feels less like an ad, although it is giving directions. So I got mine at Sephora, and you can also get it at Ulta, or you can also get it at iliaskin.com. So we'll move on to the next one.
My journey 30 days ago to now. Get Creamy by Maylis tightens and tones your curves while you sleep. Targeting fatty skin and cellulite with clinically proven results. I'm obsessed with my results after applying just twice a day for 30 days. Get Creamy targets saggy skin, cellulite, and roughness. Thousands of 5-star reviews and a 60-day money-back guarantee. You don't want to miss out. What are you waiting for? Grab your own Get Creamy today.
So again, I would turn the music down a little. It's also, and it may be because of the border, but it's a little cropped. And another way to make it feel more natural in the beginning is like, if maybe you were showing those photos, this was me 30 days ago, and this is me today. I cannot believe how amazing my body looks. And then like get into the results, and maybe showing them up close will be super helpful. But it's great you went through the points, you showed the 5-star reviews. It's just trying to make it sound a bit more natural.
Look what just came in the mail. Oh my God, they look so good. Let's put them on. I am so obsessed. I've never seen anything like them before. They are so cute and unique. I'm definitely going to be wearing these to a certain concert for a certain someone.
Okay, so I would pin the microphone to you, and I would be like, because it's ASMR. So you're whispering, but I want to hear the other ASMR that's going to make it feel just more authentic. So like maybe like crinkling the package and being like, look what just came in the mail. Or something like, this came just in time. I can't wait to open it. Or I have to show you what I just got. Okay, you did have good ASMR there. But this, I feel like it's not as natural. So I want to see you opening it and finding a different way to show the brand. I also think it's filmed with the front camera, and you should film with the back camera so that you can read it. but like finding a different way to show it. So maybe like opening it so it doesn't feel as theatrical or animated. I just want it to feel as natural as possible. So maybe a little quicker, like if I were actually watching you open it, trying to take on that mindset of, okay, if I was actually doing this, what would my face look like? What would I be saying? Taking that up a few notches, but not going too overboard with it. So it's kind of finding that sweet balance. So here I would want to see it a little closer, like, oh my gosh, look how cute these are. I can't wait to put them on. Oh my gosh, look how cute these are. Like, these are going to look so good. Like something that feels just a little more like fun. These snake earrings are from jewelry.com. Or I found these snake earrings on TikTok and immediately ordered them from jewelry.com. So something that's like telling us a little bit more information. And so that too, I would like have it be a little more close up, showing each side, and then trying to like talk a little bit, like just continuing the ASMR. So right here, what you're saying, you could be saying as you're showing them, like, I am obsessed with these. I've never seen anything like these. I'm just so happy I found them. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to wear them. Something like that, so that it doesn't feel as choppy and it feels a little more natural, like what you would say like while you're doing it. So another thing is, I'm assuming these are fashion as well, but I would maybe put titles on each of them so I know what each of them are kind of like. Is it organic? Is it an ad? Adding those titles, making this a little bit smaller, and you could even like make these a little bit closer together because there's a lot of scrolling that has to happen to see them all. Moving on to brand photos, I would just say like lifestyle photos maybe, and then you want it to be very specific. So this is a good one. I know it's about the vodka. This one, I'm not really sure what the product is. It feels like it could be something that is like a personal photo. Same with these three right here. I'm not sure what they are, so I'd maybe remove them. This one, I want to see more of a focus on the alcohol. And then I also would remove the black borders. It feels a little too harsh. I would maybe do like white or something a little softer. And then for brand photos or whatever you choose to have there, I would make that text smaller and maybe play around with the photos, making them smaller again. So a lot of it is just sizing that will help, because you could probably get all of these photos in like right here without scrolling. And then these are very much lifestyle photos, and I can tell that, and I want to see more of those and maybe just having less. I would say most brands are coming to you for videos, so I wouldn't add anything that feels questionable. And then client reviews. These are great. I would say this does feel a little like stock image, so I would maybe remove that and just like you can double up things on this screen. So client reviews with brand partnerships, like just condense that and put it all together, because again, there's a lot of scrolling. And then for brand partnerships, I do want to make sure that any of these larger brands that we are seeing on here, we better see videos for those to correlate. Otherwise, it could be assumed that they're just kind of added on there and not true to you. And then let's work together. I would straighten the photo. It just kind of helps to feel a little bit more natural. Here's a place you could do one that feels a little bit more like a lifestyle, like one of these. And then you could also do any of the photos with a product there. Let's work together. This is a partnership between us. So I'm here to talk about your vision and goals to achieve the best content possible. I want you to be happy with the results, so we will work together with this product, customizing every detail to your unique brand. I look forward to speaking with you. So for this part, I would maybe say something that's a little more direct and takes the work off of the brand, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like showing the brand that you're going to go above and beyond to find inspiration, to come up with ideas based around the brand's goals. So like almost saying something here is like, you tell me your goals and I'll make it happen. So leaning into that vibe with the wording, because what I've noticed is a lot of brands, they barely have time. They just want to send me the brief, send me the talking points. Sometimes they don't even have a brief. They just want me to do everything. They want to approve it, and they want me to create the video, and then easy, they pay me. So if you can kind of, with that mindset, kind of reword this, I think that could be helpful. And then also making everything here smaller, maybe adding some dimension with some different boxes and coloring. But overall, great job. I'm going to move on to one more. This is a very seasoned creator. She did obviously have some sort of brand photo shoot. So I just thought this was a really good example to show because she really did nail it. So right here, it feels branded. It feels professional. You can tell she has smaller font and larger font, which helps with it feeling like a website. The icons are small. The coloring is very minimal. So that feels like a brand. Brands I've worked with, Top Analytics, great. This is great inspo for like a screenshot of the exact content that is correlating to the analytics, which I love. She has her analytics here, which I recommend everyone to have once you can get them. Video content, whether you're looking for reels, TikToks, or general content to build up your content library, I offer quality videos made to match the tone of your brand and build an engaged digital community. So I like this because she is basically saying, like, I'm going to fit the mold of your brand. You just tell me what it is, and I'm going to fit the mold and create whatever it is you need me to do. The videos are good sizing. We see good titles. Photography. One thing she did a great job of is this creative right here, where you can click to scroll and it takes up less scrolling space, which I think is genius. Hi there, I'm Ella. So I do like that she added kind of anything that's wordy to the end, which I always recommend. Let's work together. I'm so excited to be part of your brand success. Email me. And then one thing, do we have location? I would want to see your location on here. So if that can be added somewhere, that's going to help me to know if I'm able to ship to you if I were a brand. And then I am going to watch one of the videos to see if there's any points there that I can give and to hopefully help some other creators.
If my body was a boat, could you steer that sailor? Make it feel like it's a 1960s Hollywood trailer. Old school, I like. Classic like cars, classic like Elizabeth Taylor. Need you to romance me, I need a give and not a take. What I need is 'cause I could.
Okay, great edits, super quick aesthetic.
Ever wondered about the magic behind dry shampoo? I've partnered with Batist to tell you the very magic in their own formulas. Batist dry shampoo has smart technology and is activated by you. The Touch Activated Dry Shampoo has a formula that responds to the natural oils on your fingertips. Simply touch your hair and the formula instantly activates, absorbing oil and giving your locks that just washed look. They even have a sweat-activated dry shampoo. When you hit the gym or break a sweat, tiny molecules in your sweat interact with Batist's advanced formula. Dry shampoo just got a whole lot more exciting. Let's make every day a good hair day.
That's very cool. I did not know that. One thing I would say that is helpful in the start of a video is either having it like spraying. So it's kind of like, what is that spraying? So an actionable thing, showing a face. Faces always just kind of help connect people to a video. And then my favorite is showing results. So I think what you could do in the beginning is maybe like a quick shot of this, maybe like 1 or 2 seconds before people have the chance to scroll, and then like popping up like a before and after of your hair. And I think that would just really like amp up the video by having results, and that would like hook me in because I'm like, wait, that looks so good and makes me want to buy it. I do like how you have paid ad here. I think that's really important because some brands are going to be looking specifically for that, which I think is really smart. But overall, you've done a great job on your portfolio, and I think it's a really great example. Again, Ella is a seasoned creator, as you can tell here. So I think it's really important to not compare yourself to creators like myself or creators who have just been doing this a long time or have different experience maybe in the industry of branding or advertising and marketing. But overall, I'm so grateful to be helping you guys and answering all of your questions. You guys submitted such amazing questions, and these portfolios that I did go over today were amazing, and there were so many other amazing portfolios. So I can't wait to see you guys in the next seminar, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.